Iowa for Republicans on the campaign trail again this weekend. Most of the GOP presidential candidates will be appearing at an event in the Hawkeye State today, with one notable exception. Former President Trump will be a no-show at today's Family Leadership Summit today, despite an invite. All the other major GOP candidates will be there and be interviewed by none other than Tucker Carlson. Let's bring in Niall Stanage, White House columnist for The Hill. Niall, the former president really doesn't need to attend this event. Perhaps maybe because he's looking at it as he does the Republican debate with such a wide lead. But does he have any other reasons he's not showing up?
He does have a couple of other reasons, although the reason you identified, I would argue, is the most important one. That's the big picture reason, that he doesn't really want to provide an opportunity for his rivals to appear to be on an equal footing when they're trailing him by so much. There are some personal elements to this as well, though. The leader of that family leader organization is a well-known Christian conservative in Iowa, Bob Vander Plaats. There's no love lost between him and the former president, Mr. Vander Plaats having endorsed Ted Cruz back in 2016 and been critical of the former president at other times.
It's interesting because there are a lot of people, especially those who aren't Republicans, who would find that former President Trump is completely absent of any moral compass. And yet he has talked widely about his faith. He's had ministers inside the White House during his time in office. You look at somebody like Ron DeSantis, who we really didn't know much about, but later found out just recently that he is Catholic. But he seems to talk about his faith more tentatively than the former president. Nikki Haley, also a strong Christian. So how much is faith going to be a part of the conversation, do you think, approaching 2024?
It's going to be a very big part of the conversation in Iowa and in the Republican primaries. Back in 2016, the last time there were contested Iowa caucuses, about 2/3 of the Republican caucus goers defined themselves as born-again or evangelical Christians. So obviously appealing to that constituency is very important. Now, how you do it is a whole different question. People take different approaches to that. You mentioned, Governor DeSantis having been, I think you used the word tentative until fairly recently, hasn't been so keen on sort of public professions of faith, but others are more overt. I mean, former Vice President Pence is very much overt in his faith. So how you talk about faith is one thing, but the importance of faith is unarguable in a Republican primary, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. And these events can certainly be telling, at least allow people to see a more intimate side of these candidates. A super PAC backing Miami Mayor Francis Suarez is now raffling off a free year of college for donors, as well as soccer tickets to Lionel Messi's first game in Miami. This follows Vivek Ramaswamy's offer to share the fundraising money with donors. Is this okay? Is this being received well in the public?
Well, I think it's been received as a bit of a gimmick, which is really what it is. The backstory here is that to qualify for a debate, you need to get 40,000 donors. And that's why we're seeing these various schemes from the, frankly, lower-ranking candidates trying to get up to that number. Is it okay? It's a bit gimmicky, but it doesn't appear to be illegal. The illegality would come in with what is called straw donors, which is where you're disguising where your money is coming from. In this case, the people who are named as donors will be the donors. It's just that they're offering these rather bizarre incentives from Lionel Messi to gift cards, a whole broad range.
But we've seen other politicians give out gift cards in order to, I mean, we've seen Democratic lawmakers, including the governor of California, use gift cards as incentivizing people for different causes. Is it as distasteful as we might think it would be on its face in this era where politics has become so divisive?
Well, I guess the argument would be that in its gimmickry, it is against the spirit of the law. You're essentially paying people to donate to you. So in that sense, does it fuel a kind of cynicism about politics? Quite possibly. And I think that dissatisfaction or discontent with people seeming to game the system might actually overshadow the novelty value of some of these tactics. So I take your point.
I love that you take my point. I appreciate
Always.
that, Niall. At least consider it. Just a thought. All right, Niall.
Always, Adrienne. Always consider it carefully. Have a good
You're a
week.
good friend. All right. Thank you, Niall. Have a great.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.